So, disclaimer on the title. These things didn't turn me goth in a literal sense. So if you're a parent hoping to protect your child from turning demonic, this video is not going to be what you're looking for. Goth is a musical, political subculture, but I do believe gothic fashion does hold some accountability for bringing visibility to the subculture. I know that everyone saw the title and in good faith clicked on this video. I know that if I don't say this, someone's gonna come in my comments and berate me for being a poser and, oh, you're just a girl trying to get attention. You don't actually care about the music. So here's my disclaimer. Thing number one, Style Savvy. Style Savvy was a Japanese fashion game and had a release in Japan in 2008 and then was released in America in 2009 with English translation. I think in Japan it's called Girls Mode. This was my first introduction, I think, in my youth to fashion that was alternative. This game featured goth fashion, what I'm gonna define as almost gothic Lolita, and then there was also punk fashion. Every type of fashion got its own brand. So there was a sporty brand, there was a classy office wear brand, there was a glitzy glam brand. The goth brand was titled Raven Candle and the punk brand was titled Mad Jack, which I loved that. Oh my god. This game gave me the space creatively to explore fashion when I was really too young to be wearing grown-up clothes. I think young people wearing grown-up clothes, I think people have noticed in recent years that the tween demographic is disappearing. I think this is partially due to young girls having access to teen culture or older girl culture on the internet via TikTok or Twitter. Beforehand, if you were a kid and you didn't have an older sister in high school, you didn't really know for sure what older girls were wearing. You might go to the mall and see stuff or have magazines, but unless you saw them on the street, you really were not familiar with what the older girls were wearing. Girls are more interested in just playing grown-up as soon as possible, and so we don't have this awkward phase, and that led to the demise of Justice, my favorite store in the world. Rip Justice. Anyway, Style Savvy. This game was so foundational. I even told my dad, if you guys hadn't bought me that game, I don't know what I would be right now. I don't know if I would have ever been goth because I would have never had that segue. He almost seemed to regret this. He was like, why did we even buy you that? And I was like, yeah, why did they buy me that? So I actually went and looked at the packaging online, and from the outside, there was nothing about this game that really inherently appears anything other than girly and feminine and classy. There's nothing really indicating at all on the packaging that there's alternative fashions featured. I started playing the game again just to see, and I even started experimenting with mixing the glitz and glam sort of styles of the 2000s with gothic or punk fashions, and this actually was so much fun that it ended up affecting my real wardrobe. Number two is Raven from Teen Titans. I feel like this is low-hanging fruit, definitely not an original experience. I always found the juxtaposition between Starfire's bright, peppy, colorful attitude to Raven's dark and gloomy, nihilistic personality. I always found that really captivating when I was a kid. I think a lot of media, especially children's media from back then, had a really bad habit of depicting blonde, peppy, pink, sparkly cheerleader bad and sort of gloomy brunette, down-to-earth girl good. And I think that Teen Titans did a really good job of establishing Raven and Starfire as they're both people, they're both well-rounded people, or aliens, I guess. It made it acceptable to identify with either Raven or Starfire. Everyone look at my nails. They have skulls on them too. You can't really see. Oh, and this one has a star thing on it. Okay, cool. Teen Titans. In the episode Spellbound in season 3, there's this character called Malkior that they introduce. Spoilers, by the way, for Teen Titans, I guess. Raven is berated by Beast Boy for being creepy. Why are you always reading those books? You're so creepy, it creeps me out. She goes in her room and she's looking around and it's dark and her room's kind of creepy, and she's like, maybe it is kind of scary in here, maybe I should change. She runs into this guy Malkior from her book. I don't even remember how he manifests, but he's the only guy that understands what her deal is. Maybe she seems dark or creepy to other people, but he's like, well, is it darkness or is it just misunderstood? He uses that philosophy to push her into dark magic, which is not cool. I did feel really seen in that episode as a child. I think I had always been told to suppress dark thoughts or dark inclinations by adults around me. That's morbid, or don't talk about that. We shouldn't be talking about death. That was the first time where I was like, oh, there are other people who have experienced this. Anyway, love you, Raven. Number 3 is the 2004 animated series, The Batman. The art director was Jeff Matsuda, who I don't really regard as having dark inclinations creatively. Definitely did for this show. Everything in this world felt so grungy and poisonous. It had like this like grit that I think like cities need to have, at least when it was nighttime. And during the day, like, it felt like a totally different show. Like, I hated the daytime scenes, but luckily it's Batman, so it was like always at night. The colors of this show, I cannot even express, had such a deep impact on me. Just like the gloomy, the dark ambience of it all. It was almost embedded to me as a child. Now in my adulthood, I seek out similar spaces with lighting like that, or just a vibe like that, because it's so familiar and comforting in my brain. I think there's a lot of DC media that actually achieves this look really well. Joker in this show was great. I think he was one of the most unique designs that Joker had ever had, maybe until recently. I think there was like an anime that came out. And I even remember seeing a Reddit post comparing all the Jokers that have ever been made, every Joker ever designed, and everyone in the comments was like, what the hell happened in 2004? And I was like, I know, right? But they were like mean about it. Even the theme song was like dark and grungy, and almost reminds me of how like Korn sounds sometimes, or Marilyn Manson. I don't like Marilyn Manson. It was written by The Edge from U2. Do what you will with that. I don't remember literally anything plot-wise about this show. I just remember that it looked pretty. Okay, number 4 is Harley Quinn, also low-hanging fruit. In my notes, I wrote, red and black is so goth. My first exposure to Harley was the aforementioned Batman series, but the minute I had access to like a laptop or my dad's computer, I was looking up Harley Quinn on YouTube. I ended up falling down this rabbit hole of Harley Quinn videos. I was basically exposed to all of her iterations at once, and I think she almost was like my first fashion inspiration. I think I've looked up to Harley since I was like 7 years old. Like I loved Harley Quinn. I remember even I went to Spirit Halloween in like 2nd grade, and I asked if they had a Harley Quinn costume, but she was so unpopular of a character that they only had a Harley Quinn costume for like adults, because I guess there was no enjoyment of her among children at the time. I don't really like Suicide Squad Harley. Her outfit is so ugly. I cannot understand the complete divorcing of clown/jester themes from the designs of Harley and Joker. There's some like diamonds, like Argyle motifs scattered here and there, but it almost comes off as like a gambling motif, because they're going for this like gang weed modernization with them, and it's just, I'm not sold on it. I think it would have been so simple for Harley Quinn to just do like a messy clown nose and smile with lipstick. Her sequel movie, Birds of Prey, I like half watched it, and her outfit is better, and I like her better, but it's like, it's not really Harley Quinn like visually. The designs I do like of her, the original, the 2004 version, and then I also loved her 2014 Assault on Arkham design and her 2015 Gods and Monsters Chronicles design. Number 5 is Katie Towell. I hope I'm saying that right. Katie Towell was this artist on YouTube. She's been around like forever. She did these really sort of gothic, creepy animations. This might be the biggest thing on this list, and it helped that these videos were pretty kid-friendly. I don't know that kids were the target audience. Even when I was younger, I was like, who are these videos for? Are they for children, or are they for like adult? I would come home and watch these videos like multiple times a day. It was like my Kindle Fire I was watching these on. The main characters were typically these creepy cute little girls. They had big bulging like black eyeballs. I remember as a child wanting to be perceived that way. I even had this moment in a summer art class that my mother enrolled me in, where the teacher had us do like life-size like self-portraits. So she like traced us on a piece of paper on the ground, and then we filled it in with like the detail. And I gave myself those like creepy black eyes. When she came around to look at our artwork, she like kind of gave me a look like, oh, what the hell? Does literally anyone remember this channel? She's still around like making these. Okay. Honorable mention, there's some pretty obvious stuff I could say. Monster High comes to mind. Marceline from Adventure Time. Alice, Madness Returns. Dude, oh my god. I think I was old enough by the time I had encountered this media or experienced it or it was released that the goth seeds were already sort of planted in my brain, and so this was more like inspiration than like something that awakened me as a child. I think my favorite honorable mention is the punk girl from Just Dance. They had Avril Lavigne's Girlfriends. Both characters are actually played by the same woman, but just in like a different costume. Anyway, if your thing that turned you goth wasn't mentioned in this video, you need to take that as a personal slight against you, and you should leave comments berating me down below. Thank you for watching.